Good morning students. We are going to study chemistry for class 8 and this is video number 5 for the third chapter. Today we will be continuing the same topic that we were studying in the previous video, that is separation of the constituent elements from a mixture, and we had seen a few techniques for the separation of the constituent elements. Today's topic is, the first topic is loading. For studying loading you should recall the last topic, that is sedimentation and decantation. If you remember, for removal or for the separation of the solid particles from a solid liquid solution, we used to follow sedimentation and decantation, in which the heavier particles were allowed to settle down, and after that we used to take the clear liquid out. Okay, but what happens if that heavy particles are not that heavy? That means if they take a long time to settle down, then what to do? There is an alternative to that. We can add certain chemical to that solid liquid mixture so that the solid settle down quickly. Okay, what happens here? You see, this is a solid liquid mixture I have taken here. Suppose this is sand and water mixture. In this, the heavier sand particles, they settle down. See, they are already at the bottom, but the lighter particles, they are above here, floating in this liquid. They won't settle down quickly. For them to settle down quickly, we will add one chemical, alum we are going to add here, and this alum speedens up or fastens the process of settling. What it does, it forms a layer above the small particles. You see, the small sand particles were here. Now there is a layer of alum. Because of this layer, they become heavy and then they come down. Okay, and this is only known as loading. The next topic is evaporation. That means it is the next technique for the separation of the constituents of a mixture. In the last video, we had studied how to separate a solid from a liquid when the solid is insoluble in that liquid. Now what techniques we are going to study is for the solids that are soluble in the liquid. Okay, now this one, these techniques are for soluble solids. The first one is evaporation. Evaporation, you know the definition. It is the conversion of a liquid into its vapor state. And this evaporation can take place without heating or with heating. You know, water evaporates from seas and oceans. Because of sunlight it evaporates. And the same evaporation can happen in our kitchen also when we heat that water. So evaporation can take place without heating also and with heating also. So what is the principle for evaporation? Principle here is, what is the main criteria is that liquid should evaporate and that liquid should not will not be taken back. Okay, you know, when water boils, then it forms vapors and goes in the atmosphere. We don't collect that vapors and get the water back. In this case, what we actually want, we only want the solid constituents. Okay, evaporation is followed only when we want to take the solid constituent and we are not bothered about the liquid. Let the liquid go into the atmosphere. So the principle is, the liquid constituents of the mixture evaporates, leaving behind the solid constituent. So what will happen? The liquid will evaporate, forming vapors, leaving behind the solid constituents. Solid will be left and the liquid will go away. Then what is the technique of separation? We will take that solid liquid mixture. Suppose if you are taking common salt and water. So common salt and water, that mixture we are going to take and allow it to evaporate. That evaporation can happen by itself in air or in sunlight, or we can fasten up that process by heating. So we will heat that solid liquid mixture. Water will evaporate, forming its vapors. It will go into the atmosphere, and at last what will be left? Salt will be left. So we got the salt back from the solid liquid mixture. Okay. Then the example, the same I was telling you, common salt from seawater. This actually is used on a large scale to obtain common salt. You know, common salt is there in seawater only. From there only we get common salt. So we are going to collect that water, keep it in a shallow pond. Okay, and the water will evaporate, leaving behind the salt at the end. The next technique for the separation of soluble solids from the liquids is crystallization. Crystallization is the separation of pure solid in the form of crystals from its hot saturated solution. Crystallization is the separation of pure solids in the form of crystals from its hot saturated solution. Now you need to understand this term. hot saturated solution. First to understand saturated solution. It is a solution which cannot hold any more amount of the solute at the given temperature. A saturated solution is the one which cannot hold any more amount of the solute at the given temperature. We can understand by means of one example. Suppose if we have got 1 glass of water and you add 1 spoon of salt to it. You know that 1 spoon of salt will dissolve easily. Then you add 1 more spoon, that also will dissolve. Then you add 2 more. That means 4 spoons of salts will easily dissolve. Then when you add 5th spoon, you will see some amount of the salt will be left at the bottom. Isn't it? Even if you try to dissolve it, you stir it maximum 2-3 times, you stir it, but it won't dissolve. That means now we have reached the saturated point, or the saturation point we have attained. That means that amount of water now cannot hold any more amount of the salt. It has taken its maximum limit. Maximum amount of salt which can dissolve is already present in that solution. Now that is called a saturated solution. Okay, the same saturated solution, if we heat it, then it will become hot and it will dissolve more amount of the solute, more amount of the salt it will dissolve. The same solution which was not dissolving before. Because of the increase in temperature, it will dissolve more amount of the salt, and now that is called a hot saturated solution. Okay, so what is crystallization? It is the separation of pure solids in the form of crystals. That means we are going to obtain, after crystallization, what we get is a pure solid, and we will get them in the form of crystals from its hot saturated solution. Okay, let us see the principle. The pure crystals of a solid separates out on cooling its hot saturated solution. Now this is what happens when we have obtained that hot saturated solution, and if we are allowed to cool it, it will the extra salt what was dissolved will come out in the form of crystals. You know, we had saturated solution, it was not taking any more amount of the salt, but because of increasing the temperature, more amount of salt got dissolved, but that capacity will be lost on cooling. Isn't it? When we cool that hot saturated solution, what extra salt was dissolved will come out in the form of crystals, and that process is only crystallization. Okay, now what is the technique of crystallization? We will first make the hot saturated solution of the required solid. Suppose here we take the example of common salt and water. We will take common salt, we will dissolve maximum common salt in the given quantity of water, and then when we reach the saturation point, we are going to heat that. And on heating, you know, few more spoons of salt will dissolve in that, and when we allow to cool it, then we will get crystals of common salt. Okay, that crystals will come out, and that only is the process of separation. Now the example here is common salt from seawater. Now you will say, teacher, we just now studied that common salt can be separated from seawater easily by evaporation. Yes, evaporation also can be followed, but crystallization is a better technique. You know why? Because it won't contain any impurities. Again and again I say pure solid, pure solid. Why is it said? Because we are only going to get common salt here in the process of crystallization. But in case of evaporation, the soluble impurities will also be obtained along with that common salt. So, okay. So, this is a better technique because we are going to get the salt in the pure form. Even one more advantage is there, that some of the solids, they get charred or they get burned at that high temperature. For preparing that, getting the crystals, we have to prepare hot saturated solution, and for that we have to heat the solution, and in that scenario some of the solids may get burnt. Okay, so you know, understood the two what are the advantages of crystallization over evaporation. The other examples here are impure samples of copper, sulfate and alum. They can be purified by the process of crystallization. The next topic is distillation. It is also for the separation of the soluble solids from the liquids. We can get back the solid and the liquid both. This process is quite similar to evaporation. Here also we are going to boil the solid liquid mixture, but it means different. What is different from evaporation is we are going to get the liquid back also. In evaporation, the vapors used to go into the atmosphere, but in distillation we will collect the vapors and we will get the liquid back. Okay, let's see the principle. This method is used to recover both the dissolved solid and the liquid from their mixture. Okay, then the technique of separation. Technique of separation here is quite similar to evaporation. We are going to heat the solid liquid mixture, but we will take them in a special vessel, and that is known as distillation flask. In the distillation flask, we are going to keep that mixture. The liquid will evaporate and form vapors, and the mouth of the distillation flask is connected to the condenser, and the vapors won't be allowed to go into the atmosphere. Instead, they will go into that condenser. Okay, and that condenser, it is supplied with cool water. Cold water it is supplied. So the vapors will get a cold surface and they will condense. They will condense and form the liquid back. That liquid will be collected in the beaker. Okay, so that was the technique of separation. And what the liquid we got is known as distillate. The process is distillation. So the liquid that is collected from the vapors is known as distillate. Now what is the example? Distilled water or pure water can be obtained from sea water. You know, from water that is present in sea has so many salts and minerals dissolved in it. It is not fit for drinking. So what we can do? We can obtain pure water, or in clear terms if we say, we can obtain distilled water from that. We can take that sea water and keep in the distillation flask. Pure water will form vapors. That vapors will be collected in the condenser and they will get cooled. Cool surface area they will get, and they will be collected in another beaker. Okay. But you should understand what water we got here, that is free from all the salts. All the salts means not even essential salts are there. So that distilled water is also not good for drinking. Of course, if you drink it, there will be no harm. But continued use of only distilled water is not good for our health. You know, from water we get many minerals also, and that minerals are essential for our survival. But that means if for a long time if you are going to use distilled water, that will cause harm to our health. So what is the use of this distilled water? This distilled water is used in laboratories. Wherever we want to add water, we are going to take this distilled water only, because we don't want any mineral to participate or to interfere in that chemical reaction. Okay, that's all for today's video. And for the homework, I say you read the topics that we studied today and you can start writing the short answers. Only the last one we have not covered. All other short answers we have covered. That means 6 short answers you can write in your copy. Thank you.